There's people who everyone is good. First of all, just really quick, I'd like to thank everyone who interacted with the channel in the last 2 years. It's honestly mental. I literally did this for the start. It was confidence, just to learn how to speak and how to interact and stuff like that. And it's kind of developed into something I love and something I enjoy doing, talking to people and sharing opinions. I love it. To get to 3,000 is something I genuinely didn't. I was aiming for 100. That was my goal for this thing. 100% honest. Thought I'd get 100 maybe. 3,000 is ridiculous, and you're all absolute legends. Honestly, unbelievable. Thank you so much. But yeah, let's get into the player ratings. There was a game yesterday. Start off with a GK, but I'm literally gonna be honest for about 5 seconds. Had little to do. Had a punch people didn't like. Could he caught it? Yeah, probably should have done. Punch was fine. Went to a fine area. So we'll move on. Made a one good save. 6 out of 10. Hard to rate the goalkeeper. Fullbacks. Juni Firpo is such an interesting character and an interesting discussion point, I believe. I give them both a 7. Because I thought it was a game where once or twice we did get exploited slightly down the wings, whether that was a cross or a dribble, right? Nothing really came through that central area, progressively anyway. Juni Firpo is an interesting person. He really is, because this is a guy that came from Barcelona who had or he sat on the bench for a year at Barcelona, had good pedigree, like genuine good pedigree. There's a lot of kind of people talking about him and how decent he was, especially at Real Betis before he went on loan. He was a good player there for a few seasons. He had consistent numbers. And then he came to the Premier League, and whether it was a mix between system, form, fitness, all of it combined, never really worked for Leeds. And we saw that again at the start of this season, or for most of this season. And that's the problem with Junior Firpo. He's never been in a situation where he's allowed to get progressive minutes. And the problem is in the Premier League, if you're not sharp, you'll get destroyed every week, right? And again, some of his defensive frailties are there to see. And if he didn't have them, you could argue he'd still be at Barcelona. If he was excellent defensively and he has the output he has going forward, which he had before he came to Leeds, he wouldn't be in this position. But never worked in that sense. However, when he's playing well, especially at this level, let's clarify that. You've not got those world class wingers. You can kind of allow to be a bit more progressive and less sharp in defensively because you've not got world class wingers. In a system where, as well as you watched yesterday, there wasn't many situations where he was 1v1 exploited in a wide area. There was always a player who would play a lot closer to him to avoid that. The winger would get deeper, for example. And you saw that at times it did help. And actually 1v1 he did decent when he tucked in a little more and kind of read where the crosses were coming from. And his output is there to see offensively. 4 assists in 3 games. And look, like I said, we bought this guy at a decent pedigree. It was slightly on the decline, but on a decent pedigree. And this shows in his 4 assists in 3 games. That's the output he can do. The problem with Junior Firpo is that fitness side of it, which is always going to be there. And you cannot sleep on that ever at any player. But yeah, Archgray as well. Archgray's an unbelievable young player. I say it every week. Someone got annoyed in my comments that I keep saying he's 17. Get over it. Grow up. The achievement is unbelievable. Enjoy the player while he's here, and I will do that. So if you don't like me saying that, literally do one. I couldn't care less. You know who you are. Don't care. I'll say what I want. Respectfully, I'll say his age because that's an unbelievable achievement. And I don't think some people, a small amount, but some people don't understand the gratitude towards this player. But yeah, shout out to Archgray. It was really good yesterday. Got beat once or twice by Miller, but then won once or twice. It was a good battle. And that's what you need. That's what he needs. It was a good battle for him. Came out on top on times, didn't on others. But then grew into the game, and Miller was so silent in that second half. Centre backs. I actually want to look. I don't spend so long on each player this week. I do that a lot. I could talk about these two all day. I love them. I love them both. They're both unbelievably good. They get it as well. Ampadu kind of that calming figure. He never really gets over excited or over defeatist in certain moments. Rodon usually, but he showed a lot of passion yesterday, did Rodon. A lone player that we all fallen in love with, which is typical. He's unbelievable, isn't he? Joe Rodon, let's be real. And I give him an 8 just over Ampadu, just simply because of one or two moments that stand out in my mind from watching the game back. Ampadu was consistently good for the game, made one or two slight mistakes, hesitation. Bar that, he was excellent. But Rodon, for me, again, 1v1, he's unbelievably good. His recovery speed is ridiculous. His work ethic and his passion is unbelievable. Just wish he stayed. I wish he was away. I know if we don't go up, it'd be impossible. I know that. I'm not naive to that. But if we didn't, just imagine the kind of statement it would be if we signed Rodon in the Championship. I know it wouldn't work. I get it. I know. But I love him to bits. I think he's an unbelievably good player. Gets it. He's brilliant. And he was excellent yesterday. Yeah, them two are brilliant again. They epitomised the game yesterday, them two. That grit, determination, solidarity in defence. Midfield, Kamara. We'll chat about Kamara real quick, because people... What's annoying me about this fan base, right? Not all of you, just some of you. Is how quick we are to want to drop Kamara. I've seen a lot of people on social media, obviously, saying, it's always there, innit? Saying, when Strout comes back, Ampadu goes to midfield with Gruev and you drop Kamara. Or you and there's some other stuff where they put Arch Gray midfield and drop Kamara. That's so wrong for me. I think he's so underrated. I still think that. I don't think he was good yesterday for his standard, hence the 6 out of 10. As a player, I think he's so underrated. I don't think people realise what he does. His defensive ability is improved a lot. Or he's understood the system more, so he gets it more, so he's always in the right position. His tenacity, his work rate is underrated. Barely gets 1v1 by his man. He tracks so well. He makes fouls when he needs to. On the ball, he's always decent. There's a few moments recently where he has been a bit hesitant on the ball, and maybe that's different movements they're working on that he needs to fully understand. You got to take that in consideration, people. With Gruev in midfield, it's a different player. It's a different movement. It's a different brain in there with him. Got to understand and learn that player. That causes slight hesitations. With Junior Firpo at the back, it's a different player to what he's used to with Sam Byram. It causes us. With Ampadu behind him, it's different. Got to learn that. Different movement in front of him with Patrick Bamford. He's a key role in that side, and sometimes it takes time for him to understand these different players and their movements because he's used to playing with his other players. Gio's on the 10, not up front now. It's completely different for him. You've got to allow that. But as a player, he's so consistent. Even when he's not having these great games, it's so important in that side in many different areas. For me, dropping him would be ridiculous. I don't get how quick we are to just negate to drop him. Wild for me, personally. Get it, it's not at the level he was a few weeks ago, potentially. But even then, a few weeks ago, 3 games ago, he was excellent. Give him time to understand these new players and the role he has, because it's difficult and it's complex in the midfield. There's a lot of movement in there. Decisions to make when he goes out wide, when he sticks, when he goes deeper, when he goes right, when he goes into the 10, when he creates, when he plays back. Yeah. Gruev, Ali Gruev, Ilya, Groif, I believe. But that's the right pronunciation. Whatever, whoever he is, he's unbelievable. Another game, 2 in a row now. This one again, so consistent performance, showing that he can do a bit of everything in that number 6 role. While Ampadu is at centre back. And there is a discussion as to what happens when Strout comes back. A real discussion, a serious one. Someone's got to lose it. Who is that? Can't have a Ampadu Gruev midfield. That doesn't work. It's too defensive. Too similar style of play. Different attributes, but similar style. Gruev was really good. I just love the way he kind of plays the game as it is, if that makes sense. He's never too kind of phased by any moment in it, and that was a problem when he first played against Stoke. He seemed a bit phased by the situation around him, a bit, what do I do here? He seems to know now. He's clear in that 6 what he needs to do when he has the ball. His pass detail, again, something I keep on about. His pass detail is excellent. The way he hits the ball is brilliant. It gives the winger or the player he passes to that easy first touch out the feet. Not a slow pass. Brilliant, crisp pass into their path where they're running every time. Can hit a long ball, and he does it, is the key. I'm sure Ampadu can hit a long ball. He has. He's got an assist from an unbelievable long ball, and maybe 2. But Gruev does it more in them wide areas than Ampadu. Ampadu likes central ones. Gruev is really good at doing them wide. And it works. It gets us out of trouble. When you've got Dan James 1v1 on the wing as well, who's tearing them apart, that's down to Gruev's balls a lot of that time. But yeah, top player, and he's just come into this thing, and people forget this guy played in a consistent, not week in week out every 90 minutes, but consistently in the Bundesliga for 2 3 years. He's of a level. He really is. He's slowly getting to that level, and he's got that tenacity in defence as well. That slide tackle. We've not had that in this team. We don't have that to the extent that Gruev shows. We don't. Gruev has that. Excellent again yesterday. Give him a 7 though, because we've got to keep him. There's still more he can do. But yeah, good to see. Front two, these guys, these two guys, and again, I'm going to talk about Crete. You know, the rhetoric is again that he weren't great. I disagree. I think if we're purely basing him on, for me anyway, you can't purely base a player on his goals and assists because a player could be unbelievable. Gio Rutter's had some of his best games where he's not had a goal and assist, right? In terms of dribbling 1v1s, I believe he had 7 or 8 dribbles. 6 were led to fouls. If you don't foul that player, 2 or 3 of them could have led to potential assists, right? They're progressive dribbles. They could have led to assists. The point was, Preston didn't allow that. They would simply just take you out and foul you. What are you meant to do as a player? He did an unbelievably good flick down the line to Firpo, and the one down the left, I remember he took 2 or 3 of them on, put a good ball into the box. He was excellent for me. Honestly, I'm not. I give him a 7 because, again, for his standard, and the difference is when he gets an 8 or when he gets a 9 or a 10, that is when he's contributing to the final third into the goal, scoring or assist. I mean, in terms of general play, I thought it was brilliant. Again, he's getting targeted, he's getting booted every 5 seconds. I love the fact that he went in on that guy. Because it was never, he didn't do it in the sense that it was going to be a red, because it weren't. There was not a lot of contact, it wasn't studs up, he just went into him hard late. I love that, because he was getting battered for that game. And he gave him one back, but it wasn't over the top. It was a yellow card challenge, and it was never going to be more. I don't mind that, as long as it stays like that. I want more players like that. As long as it don't get to the point where they overdo it and it goes to a red, just be sensible. Be late, but don't go studs up. Just go to the front of the foot, take him out. It's fine. I love that. I really do. We need that in this league. You need that fight, that grit. That you're going to take me out, I'll get you back. As long as it's of a level and not over the top. I love it. So yeah, I enjoyed his performance yesterday. I thought he was really good. I thought he terrorised the defenders every time he got it. But that's just me. Dan James is unbelievably good. I love Dan James. I said it on Joe's show yesterday after the game. He epitomises Leeds United right now. Everything you link with Leeds United, one is that kind of gritty underdog coming from kind of 16th in the Championship or League One days up to Premier League. That cycle. Dan James did that. Didn't play, wasn't rated, went into Fulham, didn't play a lot, came to Leeds United, point to prove, proving it, improving every single week as well, more than anyone, I think. I think the improvement that the trajectory is on right now is scary, if I'm being honest. There's always that thing with Dan James, if you can just define his playing style to suit his pace and his directness and his tenacity and his reading of the game, you can have an unbelievably effective player. And we're seeing a player that you could argue is becoming one of the most effective players. You know, before in the season, right, the thing was with Dan James, he was never a type of player who had the ball, or when he had the ball more, you'd lose it more. Do you know what I mean? And Cree was that main source of creativity, and we said that. We don't want to become a one-man team. We all said it. We're not now, because Dan James is showing a reliable side of him, where now he's making the right decisions. He's beating his man more and more 1v1s. He does every time, and his crosses is better. But the crosses also help when you understand the areas you need to put the ball in. That helps with Patrick Bamford up top, 100%. He's always good in the box. He always knows where he is. But Dan James is becoming an ultra consistent performer for Leeds United. Defensively, and his work rate is something that I love. His tenacity and his understanding of the game. When he gets took down, he gets straight back up. You ain't going to get me. Epitomises Leeds United. Everything about Leeds, you can link and attribute that to James. Coming over adversity. Hard work, tenacity, aggression. No nonsense. And he can finish now. He's got an end product. He's always had an instinct. The end product is massively there. He's got 10 goals and 5 assists. Don't know what that could be at the end of the season. He's a reliable player as well. That's another important thing. He's always available to play. Hey, excellent. Don't spend too long now. I want to keep this quite short. Yeah, Patrick Bamford again had some Patrick Bamford bits, which is good, and the negative side of a player, which every player in this list has. Patrick Bamford was good for the main part for me. Again, just his presence. I say it every week, but I'm not going to talk about every week. His presence is there to see. He's always there. He's always got a presence. He always helps the team. He always stretches the team. He creates runs, which create space. He holds the ball up when he needs to. He's always in the box in the right areas. Good. Give the penalty to Pirro. Team's absolutely delighted. Good to see. Gameplay. Team play. Love it. Jorginho Rutter, again, enigma. Wild guy. Does what he wants. Probably gives the ball away more than anyone in a team. But then you get the product, and that's he's a creative player. If you can slightly define that by 5%, and that's what Daniel Farke is trying to do by telling him to relax sometimes and not take the mick. Because on some days, taking the mick might not work, and he might lose the ball in key areas at times, which he does. You can define that slightly, then his numbers will go through the roof. He's an unbelievable player. I love him to bits. Creative, does what he wants. Shout out to him. 7 though, because he can do that. Give the ball a little too much for me yesterday, for his standard. But yeah, best player in the league, in my opinion. A little shout out to Joe Pro before we leave. Came on. I thought it was alright. I think the first few touches were a bit thingy, but then built the ball up quite well. Got to find some little pockets, progressed the ball, and showed a calmness and an impact off the bench. Whether it's a penalty or not, I don't care. Came on the pitch, got a goal. In the last kick of the game, realistically, last 2 minutes. That's what we need off the bench. Play with that. And it gives him time to learn the system and become the player he can be in this system as well. Important. Yeah, shout out to him. That's it, people. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to make these a little shorter. They're a little too long at 25. I think 17 is fine, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think about the game. Straight on to the next one now. Norwich. Same again. Don't give up. Fight for each other. And we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Appreciate all the support. See you soon, and thanks for 3K. Absolute legends.